Ah, hello. What's up, everybody? Brian Wayne here, the host of the Cheers to Comics podcast with my guy, new guy, Ryan. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Dude, you know me. Just
It's
surviving.
the best day of the week, right?
Yeah, it is. And it's 616 too, man. It's like Marvel Day or some shit. Not in all of the Twitter today. I didn't see anybody celebrating 616 for some reason.
Yeah, that's surprising.
So,
because people were posting about Superman Day like last week.
Gotcha. It's all these
Maybe over the weekend,
Snyderversers.
something like that.
Snyder Cut has taken over Twitter. That's why I'm blaming somebody for some reason.
It's that Green Lantern clip he released.
Oh, I don't pay attention. Did he do something? Did he do a new thing?
Well, there's a clip now of the end of the Snyder Cut whenever Martian Manhunter's talking to Bruce Wayne outside his door window thing.
I do, yes. That's the part where I woke up.
Yeah, right. I was like, please let this be the last one.
I'm not exaggerating though. That is the part where I woke up and I was like, how did we get to Martian Manhunter? Now I have to sit through this 4 fucking hour long movie again? And it turns out all I had to do was rewind about 7 seconds, and it would have fucking. Oh, he was goddamn sleeping, motherfucker.
Yeah, so he released. I think yesterday it came out on Twitter. Picked it up in the morning, Instagram in the afternoon. But basically, it's that clip, but instead of Martian Manhunter being there, it's Green Lantern floating there, and the conversation's a little bit longer.
Which one is it? John or yeah, right on, cool.
Yeah, John, right? The African American one.
Yeah, John Stewart.
Yeah,
right
John
on.
Stewart. There you go. Yeah,
Cool.
It's him. It's the one that there maybe like a few weeks ago there was also like a picture of him Snyder holding a phone that had like a test picture of his Martian or of his Green Lantern. It's that same Green Lantern, but it's like a little clip, and it's like kind of poorly rendered, like you can tell it was just like a test shot or whatever, but it's cool. People are going crazy over it. We'll see.
Well, some people are going crazy over it. Me, I mean, I'm just learning about it, and this is my reaction phase. Cool. On to comics, man. Like, this is what the 616. Fuck the Snyderverse. I mean, I don't really mean that, but at the same time, I kind of mean that right now. So
I'm pretty indifferent to the Snyderverse. So
yeah, I mean, let people like what they like. Fuck. That's the point of me kind of doing this podcast too. Is whatever. I don't need to fucking give them origin stories. How many times have I done this? What's up, Money Bags? Oh yeah. Yeah, we got William Pace here, Creators Outlet. All right, keeping it podcasters in these it's gonna be a fun night, man. It's gonna be a fun night. There's a lot, it's a dense night. It's not tall, but it's meaty, and I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it was a packed week. I had to make some choices. I was like, this is too much money.
There are choices that definitely need to be made, but I took my chances, and I'm thinking I might have made some decent moves. But before we get into the money aspect of all of this, I just want to run this by you. I saw a glimpse of this. I saw that I guess Marvel is going to start being distributed by Lunar here real soon. So that's the crane kick to the face there. I'm believing for Diamond, man. Have you looked into this at all?
Well, I know they had signed that deal quite like maybe 3 months ago now or so. But yeah, I think it's finally coming time for them to actually make that move. I think it's great. Like, I think letting Diamond have a monopoly on distribution for so long was a huge mistake in the first place, And that's not saying that during the shutdown it would have changed anything because, Marvel and DC were already saying pencils down, Image, all of them, So even if Diamond had not shut down the distribution, like there still wouldn't have been books to put out for the most part, But that being said, like giving them the power to make those kinds of decisions concerns me. My other concern though is that everybody's inking a deal with Lunar now. So like, are we running from one monopoly to another, or is there going to be some real diversification there?
I don't know. I think a lot of the indie companies are. I mean, they're branching out and doing their own things. Nobody. I don't believe anybody's shackled to anything anymore, especially with the Kickstarter culture now. But
Scouts also signed with Lunar though.
they are. Yeah. And that's they were the first ones after DC to move over.
So that's 3 distributors. I mean, they're still like Image and Boom and all the other people that can go wherever they want. And I don't think they're exclusive to Lunar, but that's basically everybody's basically with Diamond and Lunar now. And so what happens if Diamond folds? Because they clearly don't know how to run a business with competition.
Yeah. But these are all great questions, man. These are the questions that we need answered immediately. Because I mean, it's scary times. Anybody that's debating, should I open up a shop? That's nuts, because I mean, you don't know how you're going to get your books, who you're going to get them from, when. At this point, Wednesday, it might be long before Wednesday is no longer New Comic Book Day. I mean, if everything moves to Lunar, then we're Tuesday. Things are, these little tiny things are going to cause quite the domino effect. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where they land, but. It's
one of those things, like, I'm not worried about it today, because Lunar's of course going to play nice right now. They need the business to get up and running. It's just a concern, like, if everybody's signing with them like in 3 years, when they really kind of basically do have like an unofficial monopoly, how do they kind of twist that power a little bit? How do they flex on us?
Well, here's the deal though, is this is where I kind of argue that we're not working into a superpower, because Penguin, like, that's Marvel's going to be going with Penguin. Scout books are going to be distributed on Target and Walmart shelves and trade paperback form. This is I mean, everything is changing. Penguin is really the big one changing things. I wouldn't say it was Lunar. Lunar was the first domino to fall, but I think in the end, Penguin. I mean, this is the biggest. So I don't know. I think we're in great shape. As a comic book community, I don't think there's anything to fear. I don't, the only thing that's super up in the air right now is what's happening within the offices of DC's creativeness. And I'm not saying it's bad or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, who's going to have control? That's the scary thing. I'm not saying I dislike anything that's going on at all. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on over there. I can't be mad at any of this stuff. In the meantime, I'm loving my DC. In the meantime, while people hate on it, I'm going to keep scooping it up while it's real cheap. And, I'll laugh my way to the bank in 5 years when they figure this shit out, So it's...
I mean, in March, DC relaunched, right? And they've had some misses, but they've had some very strong titles since March. Future State between that was kind of middle of the road, but before Future State, like, I wouldn't have put anything on DC. They were not doing well, and Marvel was picking up every single sale, So it's ebbs and flows. Each company goes back and forth, and even indies. Like, whenever I started doing like content, it was because nobody was talking about indies at all. Everybody wanted to talk about Marvel and DC. That's how I found your show originally. You were one of the only people on the internet talking about indies when I was looking for it at that time, So now everybody's talking about indies. Everybody's talking about indies and DC. Very few people are really talking about Marvel at the moment, Later this year, though, I wouldn't be surprised if everybody's talking about Marvel and like some obscure indie company that don't even exist today,
Yeah.
It's in a crazy, like, shifting phase right now. So it's interesting to see what's going on everywhere.
Yeah, no, it really is. It really is. But I just saw it was kind of trickling out in the news again, and I wanted to see if maybe you had heard something new, or why it would be trending. Because I mean, I honestly didn't know that Marvel had signed with Lunar. I thought I knew that they went with Penguin, So now that they have Penguin and Lunar, I mean, like I said, we're in great shape, man. I don't think there's going to be a superpower. There's going to be one more powerful. For sure. I mean, Lunar's not going to hold a candle to Penguin, but I don't think Penguin is trying to compete at this point. Like,
this isn't a primary market for them.
Yeah, they don't give a shit about fucking the 2,000 comic book stores. I mean, this is a fucking a million Walmarts, and the internet. They have the internet. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
We're fine. We don't need to hit the panic button. I think
I'm less worried about distribution than ever.
For sure. And I don't think Lunar's been doing a bad job at all. Has your shop been complaining at all about Lunar?
No.
I mean,
they have, damages occasionally, but I mean, even they've said it's rarer than when. Yeah, exactly. They're like, but it's still, less. It's less common than it was with Diamond there at the end, because I mean, everybody says at the end there, Diamond just pretty much gave up. Like they were starting to just like not answer people's requests for replacements and everything else, So that's what I'm hearing is like there's less damages than they used to have, and they're getting really good customer service out of them right now. So.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm understanding too. It was choppy at first, but I mean, could you expect anything else?
Yeah, change is always turbulent.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's get into what the fuck is happening on 616 Day. That's what I'm dubbing this day. I don't give a shit. Even if Twitter doesn't agree, we could start stuff here, right? It's still 616, and most fucking time zones right now. So let's fucking do this, man.
It's not even 11 o'clock in our earliest time zone, so we're all right.
Yeah, we're good, man.
Here in the States. Not to discount the rest of the world.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know who's tuning in. All right, man.
Global.
Let's talk money. Let's talk money. The speculation. I know a lot of people get into the fucking industry for the sake of a quick flip, and this there's not a lot of quick flips to be made this week. I only saw one, and did you see which one it was by any chance? What the hurry up and make your money fast book?
Well, I don't know, because I'm assuming you're talking about Nightwing.
No,
or Venom.
No. Actually, I'm talking about Usagi Yojimbo, number 20.
Oh, okay.
The 1 in 10 variant. Because I picked this thing up for $8 off the wall, and as I get on eBay, I'm like, oh, sure, let's go for $50. And I mean, I watched it was trending up, so I don't know what last I looked about 90 minutes ago, it was like they're selling for about $50. I saw some 75 or best offer takens. Or I said those words all fucked up. But
it's coherent to me.
Good. I promise the first beer. But no, this is the one, because it's not only is it an easy quick flip. There seems to be a lot of I don't read Usagi at all. You do, right? Do you a little?
Yeah, but I haven't. I mean, this is the crazy thing. Like I collected that series all the way through like 16 or 18 was the last one I actually picked up. And I've read up to like number 12. So I was behind on it, and I kept going. I was like, you know what? I'm probably never going to get caught up and get back on board. So I stopped picking it up. And then this news dropped this week that number 20 is going to be a new character and stuff. And so I didn't even bother picking it up. But I didn't realize anybody was actually speccing on that one. I knew there was a new character, but I didn't really see anybody talking about it, which that might be a good reason to pick it up, because everybody's going to miss it. But
I think that's good reason to subscribe to this fucking channel.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like I said, I don't see a lot of people talking about it, but if you watch eBay, it is slowly trending. If you, I don't know, you could pick it up. It's a 1 in 10, so shops aren't going to be pricing it very high.
Yeah.
Yes. David says, yeah. So, I mean, I think this right here is really the pick of the week as far as.
So why is the 1 in 10 the valuable one?
It's just rarer copy. That's all it is. I mean, it's just that much. But it's pretty dope ass art too.
I didn't know if it was like a first cover appearance.
No, I mean, you tell me. Is that Blue Bunny the same thing? Is that
Oh yeah, that definitely looks like Usagi.
Yeah, I think so too.
The one I've seen, I think it's the A cover that doesn't it have the new character? It's like a female. It's like his distant relative. Like
here I got the name of the character. It's oh my gosh, I'm gonna apologize ahead of time here. Ooh, it sounds like a dirty word. Yakuchi Yamamoto. Nope, I'm sorry.
Nailed it.
Yukichi, not Yukuchi. I'm so sorry.
Yukichi. That makes sense.
Yukichi Yamamoto. Right. Oh, what's up, Tarl? By the way, we got news here. Breaking news to you as well. The Cheers to Comics podcast is a new affiliate, Ryan. Did you know that? You didn't,
no,
because I'm just telling you that. I haven't told anybody yet. Taro, he's the main man in charge at a little shop up in the wilderness of Wyoming. Nerds Forever.
Oh, nice.
So if you're up in that area, I forget what part of Wyoming, but if you're in Wyoming, it's worth it. Google and check it out, because I've dealt with Taro personally with a couple of deals actually, and it's never been smoother. So it got to the point I was like, this is the type of customer service people need to know. These are the shops that are going to continue to have people coming in and out of them. There's not going to be a bunch of 1-star Yelp reviews. Snarled at me funny because I talked about it. This is not Taro. This is not what he does over at Nerds Forever. So I want to give a big shout out. It's awesome. Yeah, man. Congratulations to me, not Taro, me, for bringing in a shop like this. So, and Newcastle, there we go.
Newcastle, Wyoming.
Yeah, 4,000 people. You know what that means? There's not a lot of people in there picking up hot books. There's not.
I was gonna say, I used to run a Pizza Hut in a town of 6,000, so I know what. Man, 4,000. That's next to nothing.
Yeah,
we couldn't hardly sell pizza to 6,000 people. How are you moving comic books? Man, that's awesome.
Yes. So happy to bring on Nerds Forever for sure. So thanks again, Tarl. But while we're so yes, I think that's really all I have to say about Usagi. I'm gonna just start out with the speculations. That's really the one. Everything else here, it's kind of a coin toss type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
You got your Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. There's a couple of first appearances in there. Mine didn't show up this week, so I had to order mine. Yeah. We'll talk about that. Cool. Right on. I do have a copy coming. I do have a copy coming. I don't know. I don't really see it doing anything in the eBay market at all yet, but DC Books don't right now.
Well, I mean, it's a Black Label Tom King book too, so whatever characters he creates and uses, like, there's a chance they'll eventually get folded in, but for the time being, you're probably not going to see these characters anywhere else. Probably not for like 2 to 5 years.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, DC's it's tough to gauge right now. Another DC book was Batman Legends of the Dark Knight #2. Got the first appearance Quiz. I guess Quiz has been around before, but this Quiz looks different, so it's not the same Quiz. I don't know. We've done this before with Marvel though. There's like been a virus before, and then Donny Cates comes out and creates virus, and they're like, wait a second, there was a virus before, and I don't know. It's okay. It's okay for there to be 2 quizzes, and I haven't had the chance to open it yet, unfortunately. So I can't say, but I wouldn't be able to judge either way. Instinct wise, I don't know, a kind of a cool seeming type of idea to carry around with a Riddler character, So, I mean, if Joker can have a punchline, why can't Riddler have a quiz? So
and that's the thing. Like, I like Riddler better than. It's not fair to say I like Riddler better than Joker, but I really like the Riddler, and I'm tired of the Joker right now.
We're just not drowned out by the Riddler. So that's what.
So giving him a sidekick is great, but they're gonna have to do something with the Riddler and his sidekick in order to really make it relevant, or else we're just back in this Tynion cycle of like drop a new character and then forget about it an issue later and hope that it picks up somehow.
Yeah. With this one, it's Derek Robertson. So I mean, it's not Tynion at all. So who's to say? I mean, Derek Robertson he's got a whole different way of doing things, So it's I don't know, man.
The only other thing is he's only on the first 3 books, right? And then they're turning it over to somebody else.
Is that true? I haven't looked into that.
That's what I've been hearing. I haven't looked into it, but I've been hearing he's only on the first 3 issues to like help get sales out the door when it launches. So if that's true, it's also going to depend on if somebody else carries on that character,
Yeah. Damn. I mean, that was the whole reason I jumped on. I didn't need another Batman title, but I saw Derek Robertson. I was like, absolutely, 100%. Yes, I'm doing this. But
Yeah, I'll look it up while you talk because I want to make sure I'm right on that. But that's what I've been hearing is that he's only doing 3 issues of it.
Got you. Well, I will say one thing. I will say that this is a book that as I see it pop up for $2 and $3, as people are automatically miscalculating their speculation because it didn't pop off the big day. Yeah, they're dumping them quick. I'm taking advantage. I am hoarding this book. I've got them coming in from all angles. So I do have faith in Quiz. I'll say that. Then really the big one, I say this is, I mean, we say DC books aren't worth specking on, but I think the series that holds the most exception lately is Nightwing. Nightwing, man. I've been chasing Heartless for 3 goddamn issues now, and finally Heartless arrives. But and it's everything I want him to be. He's clearly not going to be a one-off bye-bye bad guy. He's here to stay, is my belief, and it's Tom Taylor too. This is you got to realize Tom Taylor's resume. Like, the dude can create a very compelling character. My fucking Gabby, Scout, whatever, Honey Badger, whatever the hell you want to call her these days. I mean, that's a Tom Taylor joint. Yeah, right on, Moneybags. Yeah. And so you take these things, his resume, and you apply it to where you believe he's going with Nightwing. And I'm not going to spoil anything yet, but beyond there being we get the fucking first Heartless appearance finally. There's a huge revelation. Oh, you've been listening to my frustration
for like 2 issues. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. The third appearance of Heartless, but I digress. There's a major revelation in here that just more than anything, this isn't the book that to really be after at this moment. You got to go back to 78. You got to go back to the first appearance of what's her name, Maria Zuko? Is it Maria? Mm-hmm. Maria Zuko, whatever the fuck it is. I have it. No, I didn't write it down. Son of a bitch.
It's something like that. It starts with an M for sure. Is it?
Yeah,
I think it's
Zuko's the most important the situation going on. Yeah. But the giant revelation there, it makes her first appearance so much more valuable, and we're definitely going to talk about that here in just a bit. But I aside from Yasagi being Melinda, thank you. Maria didn't sound right. Melinda.
I know. I was like, it's wrong, but it sounds right, but it sounds wrong.
Yeah.
But it starts with an M for sure. Here's the good and the bad on Legends of the Dark Knight.
Okay.
Starting, the first 3 issues are Derek Robertson. Issue 4 is listed as Stephanie Phillips on writing, Max Dunbar on art. So it is changing creative teams, but Stephanie Phillips is pretty stellar. I just haven't been that impressed with a lot of the artists she's worked with.
Yeah, you're not a Riley Rossimo fan? He's a very that's just doing Harley Quinn.
No, I haven't read any of Harley Quinn, so I don't know about that one.
Gotcha.
But like Nuclear Family, it has good artwork, but there's nothing special about it, so it doesn't stand out to me, and it makes it like not memorable. It's not bad. It's just not unique enough to stick in my mind, And I read something else by her where it was like, this artist could just be a lot better if they would give her somebody. So,
damn. Well,
but I don't know anything about Max Dunbar. He might be great. Who knows? Well,
look into Riley Rossimo because he's a fucking beast. He did the last run of Martian Manhunter. I don't know if you checked that out. It was a couple years ago now, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. He very, very crazy, whimsical type of style, but perfect for Harley Quinn and a Stephanie.
Yeah, I've heard he's good on Harley. I've heard that book is good. So
yeah, it's right for sure. So I don't know, man. As far as speculation goes, is there anything else Venom? Is it safe to speculate on Venom? I mean, it's more of a catalyst book. It's gonna make your 7 and your 9s go way the fuck up, obviously. And I mean, if you've been on the internet at all and you follow comics in any way, this thing has been spoiled for you for the last 36 hours at least. And it sucks. But yeah, I mean,
I didn't read any of Venom. Don't like I know what happens here at the end. What I will say is kind of like you were talking about with the what was it, quiz you were just talking about? Like everybody's gonna
mhm.
dump it, so get it now and then later when it pops. That's kind of what happened here because I remember King of Black 1 came out and I read that. Didn't read any of Venom. I read King and Black 1 and I said, he's setting Dylan up to become Venom at the end of all of this. Like it's
Mhm.
all going to end with Dylan becoming Venom and he's going to pass the torch. And I was laughed out of a stream. People were like, "What are you talking about? There's no way. Dylan's powers is to like keep symbiotes away. They're not going to make him Venom. That'll never happen." Blah blah blah. So then we get to the end of King and Black. Everybody dumped their books. They were like, "Oh yeah, like Dylan's not going to become Venom." So they all dumped the what is it, Venom number 9 or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And then this news popped yesterday, and all of those people were like, "Make sure you go buy a copy. Go buy a copy now." I'm like, "No, you should have not dumped it when everybody else did and sold now." So that's kind of your warning on, like you were saying with Quiz. Like everybody's going to dump it because they think it's worthless, and then later down the road when that character pops, it could still be worth something. You never know.
yeah, yeah. Do you think the big revelation in this is something that is worthy to speculate on itself, though? I mean, obviously, it makes the 7 and the 9s right back up there. I mean, more valuable
Yeah.
than they
If
ever
you have
were.
it, flip it now. If
Yeah.
you have it, flip it now.
Well,
This
it's
is because Venom changes hosts plenty. Like this is nothing new to us. Him changing, and more importantly, it's one of those things. Like when a writer leaves a character, the worst thing that happens is you see somebody else write that character. So if you were Donny Cates and you felt this connection to Eddie Brock, the best way for you to leave your run is to try to get Eddie Brock out of the way so that whoever comes in doesn't get to write him for at least 6 months while they try to get him back, you know?
yeah, yeah, I get that. Well, see, but I think that's where it could work in everybody's favor in this particular instance, because the person taking over Venom is also, they're swapping, so he can come over to
Mm-hmm.
Immortal Hulk, and Al Ewing does something weird with Venom. He's like, "Oh, watch what I do with Hulk. I'm gonna shove a building up his ass." I mean, I mean, they could go back and forth, and
Yeah.
so and because of that, I don't see that happening. I think both these people, I think they have a game plan. I think they were in the huddle together and they said, "Look, this is what I made, but the intentions were this. Take with this what you will." And I'm pretty sure that both these people are going to be true to that. They're going to have their flair for sure. But I don't know, man. I think Dylan as Venom is something that we could probably get used to. Because like you said, it's not like Eddie Brock is the only Venom. What I said in the beginning of King and Black 1, what I said is they're going to bring Flash Thompson back to life. And I tagged, yeah, I felt, I got the same type of ridicule. And I almost felt like I got it from Donny Cates himself. It's just, like, you motherfucker, in issue 1, you figured it out, and I mean, I'm not tooting my horn, or this is what I wanted, because to me, I like Flash in the Venom title. Like that was, so I win in this. I don't know, man. But
Well, and the other potential direction to take this is Miles Morales. He's getting a Clone Saga. He's getting all the Peter Parker treatment right now. He's gonna need a good Venom at some point. So why not seed that now with the next generation?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I think Venom's here, or Dylan's here. Like he's going to be in there with the Flashes and the Yetis. Like he's going to be a solid symbiote host. And always at the forefront. Like when we're talking about him, it's going to be a big deal. It's not going to just to be popping in and out type of situation. He's fucking Venom now. What I can't wait to see happen is what Al Ewing does with the God Eddie Brock. And I think that is I don't know, man. But that's a whole other thing, though. My point is, as far as the actual value to Venom 35 itself, the thing that happens, I don't see this as a book to hold on to, and neither does eBay. You know, it's a $10 book, and I'm already seeing them go for like $7. So yeah, well, wait for Kid Venom and
Kid Venom.
Champions.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows, man? Who knows? That's actually not a terrible call at all. Now you got my brain working. I wouldn't mind seeing a symbiote on the Champions. You know, I'm loving the fucking Champions right now. I don't hate that, man. I don't hate that. That's the speculation this week. Do you have any sleeper picks? Did you pick up any number ones that you think might take off down the road?
Well, Radiant Black number 5.
Oh, yes.
It's for some reason it's labeled as the main character's buddy, Marshall. For some reason they have it labeled on the internet as his first appearance in the Radiant Black suit, but that happened in the last issue. So I think that's just a mislabel unless they're calling that other one a cameo. But he fought a hell of a fight for 3/4 of that book in the suit for it to just be a cameo. So that part's kind of weird, but 2 brand new characters did show up in costume in this issue. So these are characters we've never seen. The first time they show up, they're wearing the suit with the helmet pulled down so you can see their faces and everything. So as far as I'm concerned, that's like a full first appearance. And they are, of course, different colors. So we're kind of getting a team building thing here. So down the road, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Power Ranger sort of team up thing where we got 5 different colored characters. And this will be the first appearance of 2 of those team members.
Well, this is Kyle Higgins writing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Kyle Higgins do some Power Rangers?
Yeah, he wrote the first 30 issues of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And he also wrote the Ultraman stuff that Marvel recently launched. And he's writing some other tokusatsu kind of property for Marvel too. But yeah, so he's in the tokusatsu genre. So this is his first like original take on it.
All right. Right on. Well, I'm excited to see what this is about. I'm behind on the series. From my understanding, a lot of people are claiming because there's no names given, there's no I'm so and so. They're gonna claim these to be cameos. So I think more than anything, this is the setup. Like, get ready for issue number 6. Like,
yeah, because we didn't get any names on these characters. They do talk, but they don't ever say their names. Yeah.
So I say issue number 6 is probably going to be the one to get after, or if you are a speculator when it comes to Radiant Black, because I know it's very polarizing, this book and the speculative community. I know a lot of people, like you said, that they read the first 3 issues and like, what the? There's no way this book's going to take off. But here we are. I was
afraid it was going to die before it got to make any kind of points. But that 4th issue really turned it around. So I'm still hesitant and sticking around for it, but 4 definitely like made me pay more attention. So I'm waiting to see where it goes from there, because 4 and 5 have definitely been way better than the first 3.
Nice. See, that's exciting because I'm the odd man out on this, and I've got through the first 2 so far, and I was I put them down. I was like, I didn't see what people hated about them. I mean, I thought they were decent, but I don't know. Who knows? I like weird shit, so it is what it is. That's the beautiful thing about comics, is because just because you like something, it doesn't mean it's wrong. Whatever. Anyway,
so possible first going somewhere.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that.
And this is not a first appearance or anything, but it is the first in this series, so we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
This one wasn't bad, but it's kind of slow, especially for like trying to bring in a new audience or people that have been waiting for this, like I never read Static, but I loved the show on WB.
We all watched it.
So like for me, this is like 20 years of me wanting more of this character and just not getting it. So this is exciting to me. I'm a little disappointed how slow this first issue was. But it has potential, it has a lot of potential, especially in today's climate.
No, we'll see. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't the blow up issue that I was hoping it would be. Like, it's Static fucking Shock returning. Like, this should be an epic 40-page,
Mm-hmm.
like $6 issue 1. Like, I don't know, man.
Like, I mean, that kind of touches on an issue I have with this in general. Like, Vita Ayala is a newer writer.
That's what I was getting to.
Very good at the craft, but still relatively new. So it just frustrates me because, and I hate to say it like this, but it kind of feels like a separate but equal kind of argument when there's so many like top tier black creators out there. They couldn't find
fucking
anybody
Chuck Brown on this.
Relaunch.
Like,
yeah,
you know, I
that's
understand.
what I said. I was like, you got David Walker, Chuck Brown, Sanford Green, the guy doing Philadelphia, Rodney Barnes. Like, none of these people were interested in putting together this new Milestone universe. Like, you just went with new talent across the board.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't hate it, you know, but
I liked it better than Milestone Returns. That book had a lot of issues to me. This one felt a lot better put together, but I'm just like, why? I mean, when the regular DC universe has James Tynion, Joshua Williamson, and Scott Snyder as the architects and have their fingers in every aspect of the entire DC publication, right? These three monolithic guys, like, basically running, all they're missing is Donnie Cates, you know? And then you go over here to, like, we're going to bring back Milestone in a year that really needs some great black representation, and we're going to come up with brand new talent to do that instead of, like, putting some real flagship creators on this project. That's the part that disappoints me the most.
Yeah, and I know that there was some people out there that were legitimately excited about this. How about the guy that announced this book? Mark Bernardin at the DC fucking weird thing they did last year. Mark Bernardin was one of the men that announced his book. He's written some stuff before. Like, he does a fucking he's writing He-Man with fucking Kevin Smith. You know, Kevin Smith knows a couple things about comics. Like, why is it? I thought for sure. I mean, when I saw Vita Ayala's name on this, I was like, that's not how you spell Mark Bernardin. Like, I didn't. It didn't make. I don't know. It caught me off guard. There's just. I don't know.
Did you catch the marquee back here?
No.
They put McDuffie's name on it? Like, come on, dude. He still makes comics, don't he? Didn't he just make a creator-owned project like 2 or 3 years ago or something?
Yeah, that sounds about right. It doesn't seem like...
And didn't he create Static? Like, why would he not want to, like, help rebuild this universe? Were bridges burned that hard?
I don't know, man.
Davis, Dingle, weren't those all original Milestone creators? Like, I don't know. That's the one thing. Like, the politics and the optics of it is just so strange. It kind of feels like DC was like, we have to bring Milestone back, but we don't really want to invest money or resources into it. You know?
Yeah,
kind of hurts my feelings.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be a real bad look if Milestone eats dirt and tanks like
if it flops and people can just point at like the creators and the amount of effort they actually put into it, it's going to be a problem. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I did not know he had passed away. I thought I had just seen a book with his name on it, though. Maybe it was like 5 or 10 years old, but either way, I mean, there's creators out there. It doesn't, like you said, I mean, Chuck Brown is a pretty young talent, but he has enough wherewithal. Like, he's creating solid universes and stuff, you know? He would be great on this book. I don't understand why they couldn't find somebody like that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't want to take anything away from Vita either, you know?
That's the hardest part, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've done good stuff. But, you know, there's a lot of pressure on this book, you know? I mean, this is a big one. You know, it'd be one thing if it were, you know, Hardware or Icon, you know, but this is the big Milestone book, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I didn't hate it, and I just, but it was lacking in a couple of things.
I wish it had started with Static in a fight. Like, I know it's kind of a cliche, tropey kind of way to do storytelling, but start him out with the fight where, like, he's kind of like going down and somehow flashes into like giving us this quick backstory and stuff. Cut that with the fight back and forth. The end of the book, he comes out victorious, but Homeboy gets away. Now we've got something. I'm pumped for number 2, but This
The
issue was just like, I'm gonna
first,
sit in my room and brood about electricity for 20 pages, and I was like, come on, dude, like get up and do something.
yeah,
The
yeah.
best
I
part was the
don't
guy doing the podcast. I was like, man, this part's great.
know. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see. I think that's actually a great segue, though. I mean, I think we've kind of. I mean, look, do you want to talk about this book? I mean, we were talking about it now as far as like the sake of speculation goes. You know, is it a number one that holds potential? We'll see.
Yeah.
But
And there's also a universe being built here, so that's the other thing that can lead to some speculation. Because I will say, in Milestone Returns, the one thing that really stood out was the Icon and Rocket story.
mhm.
And so, if that book can come out and carry the other stuff, maybe we can get Static to a good point, and then once they kind of like make the universe element come together, they can kind of launch Static out there again, you know. And this book could turn into the beginning of all of that. So it has a lot of potential because there's a whole universe around it. It's not just one book.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think it's not a bad book to have a few extra copies laying around for a little while. Like, let's see how this plays out. If Milestone isn't something we're talking about by the end of the year, then well,
Yeah.
whoops, DC
Not
did
to
it again.
mention, what's his name? Michael attached as far as production on the Static movie, I believe.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not acting, not writing, not directing, just as a producer. So
Yeah.
it'll remain to be seen how much influence he has on the production itself, but he really don't seem to attach his name to anything of low quality these days. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if it turns into something.
Yeah, no, it has my attention, and I have a feeling that Phil Lamar is going to be involved in some way. You know, there's a huge campaign to have him play Virgil's dad, which I think would be perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. So I mean, yes, there is that hope for this because you know your original Static ones, they're all sitting at CGC right now. Like that's where they're at.
That's crazy.
This might be your next best bet, you know, and people can't get them. They're going to go to the next best thing. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a terrible thing to pick up while you can, but I don't know. That's for the sake of speculation, I guess. We'll see. We'll see, man. Did you check out any number ones? Okay. Do you think that's going to go somewhere? I mean, do you think that's going to hold some water in the speculative community?
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
I grabbed it because I really like the synopsis, right? They basically describe a Middle Eastern Indiana Jones type character. It's a female character from Baghdad, and it takes place like in 1300. She goes to England to pick up some artifacts and stuff. It's very Indiana Jones in presentation, and this book is very like decompressed. It was definitely a slow burn. It was good, but it was a slow burn. So while I think there's a lot of speculation to be made, Greg Rucka's name's attached to it very minimally, but that gives people a lot of confidence. You're talking about an Indiana Jones type of character, Nathan Drake, Laura Croft, you know, like action, adventure, exploring artifacts, all that kind of stuff. So while that's a great selling point, we also have to remember there's an Indiana Jones movie and a Nathan Drake movie in production right now. So as far as like movie news, I wouldn't expect it to take off anytime soon unless that becomes like the next big genre of movies, because it could easily become a saturated market. But that doesn't mean there's not potential for like TV or spin-off series from this that could drive some value as well, you know?
Gotcha. Right on, man. Right on. I did read one number one this week actually myself. From Scout. Midnight Western Theater. I mean, I got a lot of faith in Scout. Sorry, I don't have a lot of faith in my camera angle abilities right now, though. Whatever, you get the. There we go. You get a good gist of that. It's exactly what it looks like. It's fucking vampires in the Old West, and you know, it seems on the surface you might think whatever, but you read it and I'm like, fuck, this is actually kind of fun. I like these characters. I like their demeanor. I want to see what their motives are. And Scout having their their new cinematic distribution deal that they've nailed down here in the last 6 months. Anything is possible with Scout. And
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sure, they have vampire properties there already and still in the works through Scout. But to me, universes, I mean, the universes collide. Can we get a Cult of Icarus and a fucking Midnight Western Theater all coming together? I mean, the sky is the limit with Scout because they're really the ones in the front of the pack. People are doing. I mean, they're right. They're right in front. And we'll see what happens. I know as of right now, people are like, nothing's happened so far. Fucking pandemic, dumbasses.
And even if you look at the micro scale, like Scout's one to keep your eye on, because if you look at Vault, they're no bigger in the market than they were a year or two ago. Right. If you look at Mad Cave, they're no bigger in the market than they were a year or two ago. Source Point Press hasn't really grown in quite some time. Like all of these other publishers, if you look at publishers that have really grown in the last 2 years alone, it's like Scout, Boom Studios, and Aftershock. Mm-hmm. Image has been big forever. The big two have been big forever. And all of the smaller ones have pretty much stayed in position. But I would say Scout, Boom, and Aftershock have blown up in the last 2 years. And, Scout being on that list in the first place tells you they're making moves. So it takes a long time to make a movie or a TV show, We never know what kind of deals they have on the back end right now.
They inked the deal in the middle of the fucking pandemic. Like
all production shut down.
Yeah, yeah.
They ink a deal. It's not moving quick.
That's fucking confidence is what that is. Like, we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know if there'll ever be a movie made ever again in Hollywood, but we're gonna try to do this, and I don't know, let's fucking take it to Arizona or something and do it. I mean, that's the what's David saying here? Hollywood, yeah, they are, but I mean, that's the beautiful thing about Scout. Like, that's where I have faith, is I think they're gonna look at that and go, okay, well, let's do something else. Like, let's it's an indie comic, let's shoot it like an indie film. We'll debut a fucking Sundance or something like that. I mean, you never know. Yeah. It's these are the, once again, just off the beaten path types of moves that Charlie, Stickney, and all of these people are making over there. They're brilliant.
It's like guerrilla warfare over there, man. Like, they're finding whole new ways to do everything. And like you were saying, I think Crossover had a certain amount of success that gave Skybound confidence to do this Skybound X thing where they're going to start crossing their universe. And if that's as successful as people expect it to be, why would Scout not like pick that up and do some crossover work in their own universe? They have all these creators that are uncontracted that have like Kickstarter projects that have already come out, and now they're talking to them about re-releasing with Scout, So they're putting out a book by a creator, but the book's already done. So what's the creator doing? Mm-hmm. Waiting on your next meeting to tell them, like, hey, we also have this other creator sitting here doing nothing, so why don't y'all get together and do something together, Like, the amount
a lot of them already have worked together. That's the other thing. A lot of them already have, like what Brian Silverbacks is doing. Like, he's creating his little universe in himself with Kara Prime, but he's using a lot of Scout creators to come in there and mold these stories of these characters that he's developing. Thus kind of making. I mean, I when I had Silverbacks on the podcast, I mean, I was pretty adamant that Kara Prime, in the end, right now it's a Kickstarter project, but in the end, it is going to get picked up by Scout, just because of all of the Scout talent that's already worked on it. And that in itself could be a major catalyst for Scout to be like, okay, well, let's bring Metal Shark Bro in here now. And let's throw some fucking vampires in this motherfucker, and we've got vampire books to choose from. I mean, it's
Metal Shark Bro killing vampires. I'm so in,
dude. I mean,
in the Wild West, that would be amazing.
Yeah, and to me, it just sounds fun, and that's the definition of entertainment to me. Mm-hmm. It doesn't need to be perfect and artsy and MCU-ish where everything is perfectly woven together. No, man, if a fucking Metal Shark Bro wants to come in all of a sudden and just fuck up a goddamn, I don't know what on Black Friday, bam,
right. In a mall.
yeah in the Black Cotton universe, and like, oh, where do I fit in? I've got fucking rubbery
Fins and
skin.
flippers.
Yeah. You know, like it'd be a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And Scout I trust. So and with them being at the head of the pack, we're good, dude. We're yeah. So with that being said, Midnight Theater or Western Theater have some promise to it potentially. Yeah, get it. And if you go to scoutcomics.com and get it and use code Cheers10 at checkout, like I'm gonna slip that in there now. Save 10%. 10%. Use code Cheers10 at scoutcomics.com. Anytime you buy anything there. There's no end to that. You can do it right now, or you can do it in an hour. But if you do it in an hour, this book might not be there anymore. Because yeah.
Yeah, see,
Scout.
there you go. It's all creator owned, so they'll allow anything.
Yes, sir. What else you got this week, man?
Let's see, what else did I grab? I mean, honestly, those were probably the two lowest on my list, and I didn't think they were bad. They just didn't quite knock it out of the park for me. But Ron V has been killing this series, and this Jenny Frizen variant was just
yeah, that's amazing, man.
This was actually supposed to be Nightwing, but I had told myself I'm not going to buy more than 3 books each day. So I went Tuesday and Wednesday. And so it was this and 2 other DC books. And I was like, I really want to grab Nightwing, but I'm just going to have to pick it up later.
Yeah. Yeah. I good luck, man. I hope it's still there. I do. Because
even if it's a second print, like I'm not too worried about not being able to get it at all.
Gotcha.
It's a great story, though. I really enjoyed it, and I've checked it out, but I haven't picked up a physical copy of it yet.
Oh, yes. Dude, you got that foil, man. That's amazing. I got mine right here.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, that, and here's the thing with me. Like, this will probably sell well at some point to somebody. I'm not a big fan of foil covers because they look like what we see on camera. Like, I hate when people show a cover on camera and it's got all the glare.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, yeah, that looks bad because of all the glare. That's kind of what foils are in real life. Like, it just looks like I'm looking through somebody's camera. So I'm not a huge fan, but they literally, this is all they had left. I got there 20 minutes after open today. That's all they had left was like 3 of these. And I was like, well, I guess that's what I'm getting. But I have an A cover on the way because that A cover is just absolutely beautiful.
It really is, man. I mean, it's
yes, I really wanted that cover so bad. So I'm glad I got one on the way already.
Awesome. Here, I'll.
Have you read the book?
I have. It's still.
Who was it?
It's you know, you saw me rave about number 1. I mean, that was my shit that week, and I'm still into it, man. Like the second issue kind of like did one of these for a second, but 3 went right back up and did its thing. And I mean, it's to be expected with issue number 2s off of a heavy number 1 like that. You know, I wasn't mad at it at all.
I enjoyed the second one. I was kind of like, okay, so where's this all going? Like the crow kind of like confused me. I was like, this crow came out of nowhere, you know? But yeah, like when you get to the end of the second one and you realize all the connections and stuff, it's like, oh, this is good. This is really good. And then you go into 3 and he told a story from like one of the most unique perspectives I've ever seen in my life. Like if you think the pizza dog issue of Hawkeye was cool, like this is next level here, man. Like I cannot believe he told that story that way.
Just going back a little bit, we have already had some crossovers. I forgot about that. I even have the Starbaster Loggerhead, and I have the Stabbity Gut Ghost as well. Look at me on top of it. I don't know if there's anything that Scouts put out in the last 9 months that I don't have, to be perfectly honest, between my subscription boxes and just my utter faith in every Scout title that comes out. But I had to go back and important stuff
no
there.
Doubt.
This Layla is
You're 3 out of 5 now, so
yeah. Do you think it's going to end up being a self-contained story, or do you think this is going to be a season 1? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know. I think this is going to wrap it, but I don't think that means the end of this universe. I feel like Ram V could find another way in. This might be the end of Layla Starr, but you know, there might be some other story to be told, you know, in 5 issues next year or something, you know.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some interesting characters. I mean, we have to see how this plays out for sure. I mean, if she kills everybody off in here, then we'll see. But I don't know, man. I raved about it at first. I see some. I saw a shop have their issue number ones already priced at fucking $40 a piece. It's just they
Wow.
yeah. In faith.
For Layla?
Yeah,
Wow.
for number one, yeah. They have that kind of faith in where this is gonna go. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, man. It's good stuff. I don't know. Now that I think about it, fuck, that might be my fault. Because I went in there ranting and raving. And I was like, did y'all motherfuckers read this Layla Star?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so good. Like, I mean, the one thing about it is like Rom V, I've listened to enough interviews and read enough of his newsletter. He kind of manages writing the way that I manage my pull list, and that I like short series. You know, like I love the way that Bitterroot comes out 5 issues a year, because that means for the other 7 months out of the year, that's an extra book I can have on my pull list. That's a whole nother story I can be getting every year, you know? And so Ron V kind of talks about that a lot in his newsletter. Like, he likes to write conclusive series because it gives him time to sit down and write it and focus on it, and then he can move on to the next project. But if you're always writing a bunch of ongoings, you're just always having to cycle through characters, you know? And so I don't think it's going to do one of those things where they extended like they did Something is Killing the Children or Once and Future, where they're like, oh, it was meant to be a miniseries, but we'll just do ongoing, you know? I don't think they'll do that to him. I don't think he'll let it happen, even if they want. But I wouldn't be surprised if he finds like a sequel series with a different character or something next year and do like another little 5-issue run or something.
Cool. I'd be into it for sure. Because, like I said, I've enjoyed this immensely. It's just an amazing concept. And I can't wait to see how she kills this little fucking bastard.
Right. I wonder if she will, like, because he keeps getting older, you know. So, because her goal is to kill him so he doesn't make immortal life, so that she can get her job back. But what happens if she ends up at the same age as him at some point, you know, and then they fall in love?
Then you don't kill a kid, and it's not as bad. That's what it comes down to. She's like, I don't want to be a kid killer. I'm gonna wait this motherfucker's old enough to drink on his 21st birthday. I'm gonna put cyanide in his goddamn Irish car bomb, and that's that. I'm gonna watch his eyes melt out of his fucking ears, and cool. I'm gonna go back to being the bringer of death, bitches. You know, it's
right.
I don't know. We'll see. That's
be interesting.
Well, I don't know. It's got to be more interesting than that, because. Oh shit. What else we got this week, man? Let's try to keep it indie for a second. Berserker? You reading Berserker?
No, I read the first one, and I found the pacing, honestly, like Matt Kent should have been embarrassed that book made it out of a door. That pacing was so bad. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, you gotta. I mean, have you ever seen anything that Keanu Reeves has ever done? I went into this with zero faith. Like, to me, this is Keanu Reeves. I mean, I've got nothing against the person, the man Keanu Reeves, but creatively, I think he's the most overrated thing in all of art. And you know, I'm not trying to say that as a hater. That's just what I perceive. I have a hard time. Whoa. Like that's I just see wow, that's not hard. It's not hard to do. That's like 11 of his movies, you know. That's so. With that being said, when he says I'm coming to comics, I'm like, how do you put whoa into comics? I was like a kid, and am I a god or a tool? But I killed a lot. Whoa. I mean. I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm really not. And like you said, it's poor Matt Kent. You know, that's what it comes down to. Poor Matt Kent. Am I still enjoying the? I kind of am, because I like blood, and it's a real quick read. It's a great palate cleanser. Like if I want to go from event book to event book in the same week, I'll throw a Berserker in between. You know, like it's just a fun, quick. Whatever. I mean, the dialogue is not all that important, unfortunately. Like you get the point. He's a
Yeah.
dude that just, I mean, he's a boy.
He's
He aged.
unkillable.
He's a god, from lightning, and they don't know why, but that's what it is. And here he is, just being lightning goddy. And like I said, I don't hate it because it's violent, and that's it's hyper violent, and I don't get enough hyper violence in comics. You know, a lot of indies now is very artsy. They got a story to tell, and in Marvel, it's fucking Disney. What hyper violence you getting there? You know,
Yeah.
maybe a DC Black Label book, but even then, you could, they'll pull the reins back there. Batman's not allowed to. Never mind. We're not gonna get into that. We're not gonna do that conversation.
Heroes don't do that.
Silly.
Right.
Uh,
Well, how about a move, or how about a book that does bring all of that ultra violence?
Tell
Have
me
you
about
been
Ultra
reading
Mega,
this?
man. No, because it's an $8 book, and I mean, I got thick stacks already.
Dude,
So-
they put $25 worth of value in this book.
Really?
Like, I kid you not. Like, I went into this, right? The first issue, I was like, I knew a lot of people that were going to read it, and I was like,
Open that. Do you mind open that up? Like, let me see just any type of interior page. I want to see what we're looking at here.
dude, you're a fan of Daniel Warren Johnson, right?
He's my favorite. Maybe the fucking question is
This
that,
is about the closest thing you will ever find to Daniel Warren Johnson.
All right.
I mean, keep in mind, the whole book is written, illustrated, everything is done by James Harren,
Yeah, Heron.
except the colors, who are done by Dave Stewart, who is also doing colors for
Well, a lot of shit.
Daniel Warren Johnson.
Well,
Beta Ray Bill.
Mike Spicer does.
Oh, is he? I was
Yeah.
thinking Dave Stewart was on that one.
Yeah.
Well, same difference. Anyway,
I gotcha. No, Dave Stewart's still amazing though.
Yeah.
All right.
like,
Okay,
let me show
that's metal.
I mean, look at the back of the book too. Very Daniel Warren Johnson.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
And,
All right.
Let's see a good, nice. There's like a giant splash here toward the end that will probably sell you on anything and everything.
All right. Yeah. No. Okay. I'm into this, man. So what's this book? What's going on with issue 3? Like, I'm not afraid of anything to be spoiled or anything like that. Go for it.
Okay, so in this issue, man, it's kind of, because this is the end of like the story arc, so it's kind of wrapping things up. So there's a lot to know going into it, but basically the first issue starts you out with these things. They kind of look like this, like they're ultra megas, right? So they're kind of like, they're like regular people, and then there's like 3 of them, right? They go ultra mega and they get real big and stuff. So it's kind of a Power Ranger thing because they're fighting kaiju. So it's like all these crazy monsters and stuff, right? In this post-apocalyptic world. At the end of the first issue, they all die. They get murdered, basically like that splash I was showing you there. So the rest of the books, like 2, 3, and 4, what they've been building back up to is basically the next generation of these defenders of Earth. But it's like so Daniel Warren Johnson in presentation. Like every issue is better than the last. It's all like incredibly brutal and hyper violent and gory and just like crazy. There's like a good sense of humor to it though as well. And like in this issue, you have like this guy like goes into space and he meets like the head of his dad and stuff. Like you're getting like all this like crazy cosmic stuff. The second issue like opens with see, like he kind of has like a Ultraman kind of head and it's floating in space. That's the guy that was killed at the beginning of the first book.
Gnarly.
That's this kid's dad. So like he goes into space and meets his dad for the first time, and then he like bonds with this kaiju parasite that like like this eyeball monster thing, like it fuses with him and gives him those powers just like his dad had to be an ultra mega.
All right,
so man. Like this is them like fusing. He's like laughing sadistically while because they were in space and like these creatures like rip their legs off, so they're both laying there with all their intestines and everything hanging out. And he's like, the only way we can survive is if we combine. And he's like, that sounds crazy, but I guess if you can do it. And he makes a little joke right there, and then the guy like the monster like starts to like combine with him, and they're just like matched, and he's just like screaming in pain while the monster part of him is just like ha 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 ha. It's like, dude, it's so off the wall. It's the craziest thing I've ever read, but every issue is just so good. It makes no sense when you explain it, but when you read it, it's just like.
Is this still going? I thought it was just like a 3-issue contained situation.
This is the 4th issue, and it's the end of the story arc,
Oh,
and
shit.
it wraps up pretty solid. But there's definitely room for it to continue going, so I think it's supposed to be an ongoing.
Oh, right on, man.
Does this say, like, how many books? Yeah, no, it just says Ultra Mega number 4 on the inside, so it doesn't say like 4 of 6 or something, you know.
Okay,
but
cool.
It kind of ends with us finally having a new Ultra Mega because they all die at the beginning of at the end of the first issue. So,
damn. So an ongoing run with an $8 cover price. It's bold. That's bold. But you say it's a $25 value inside each book. I mean, that art looks all super rad too.
Yeah. Oh, the artwork's amazing. The colors, like the color work, is just next level. Like every cover is kind of like this, where it's like 2 different colors, and you get like this neon 80s inspired metal back like color scheme and stuff. Like it's good. It's really good. I went into it, the first one, I was like, I don't know if an $8 book is going to be worth it, but everybody else is going to be reading it, so I'll check out the first one. I was like, this is really good. There's no way the next one can live up to this. And then 2 came out, it was even better. And then 3 came out, it was even better. I was just like, man, and it's packed with content. Like there's no fat on it. Like everything is essential to that story, and it feels like a $15, $20 book that you're getting for like $8, you know. It's a win.
Cool, man. I'll keep that in mind. I will. Maybe there'll be like some sort of collected edition I could pick up or something. But yeah, it has my attention. I mean, you compare anything to Daniel Warren Johnson in any way, shape, or form, and I'm gonna be focused in, no doubt. Anything else, man?
I have one more book I picked up.
What you got?
This is definitely my read of the week.
Oh, tell me about this.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's Tom King, so you know, take that as you will. I know some people don't like Tom King, but it's great. Like Wonder Girl or Supergirl here, you find out right at the beginning, basically, like you're introduced to this other girl, which people are specking on that aspect of it because like she's on this planet that we don't know, so like all the characters are new.
What's her name? Ruth?
Yeah, Ruthie.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a certain like old English kind of style to the dialogue and stuff of the characters on this planet. So it opens like this, and that narration, that's the girl, Ruthie. And she's telling the story of how her dad was basically killed by I guess like a sheriff of Nottingham kind of type, you know? Like he's in government service technically, but he's also like a bad guy. And so he basically uses his title as a king's agent to be able to kill the dad, basically. And so he left his sword in her dad. And so she took the sword. That's her there. So she takes the sword, and then she's looking for somebody to seek out this guy, the king's agent, Krim, because Krim is the guy that killed her dad. So she wants revenge on that guy. So she wants to hire a mercenary to take that sword and kill him with his own sword, basically. That's what she's looking for. And so then she's in this bar trying to convince a guy to do it. He's not interested, but he's also an asshole, and he like tries to basically steal the sword. He's like, you're just a little girl, like pushes her away and takes the sword. He's headed out the door in this like drunk in a like cape and cowl kind of thing, you know, she's all like leaning over and stuff. She basically stops him and embarrasses him. She beats his ass down. And then she reveals this is Supergirl. It's her 21st birthday, so she came to this planet that has a red sun so she could drink for the first time and feel the effects of it. And so you know, so basically
Tom King.
Yeah, like it's such a great setup because then the girl's like, well, I want you. Like she sees how good Supergirl is at beating this dude's ass. She's like, I want you to do it then. And Supergirl's like, no, I don't want to do it. And then some things happen throughout the book where basically Supergirl ends up stuck on this planet because of the red sun and everything. So that's kind of where the adventure starts, is like she bonds with this girl, you know, but she didn't really want to be here. And so she kind of goes on the mission, or this hasn't happened yet. This is what I'm assuming is going to start happening in the second one. But basically, it seems like she's going to end up going on this mission, trying to convince this girl, because the whole book she's telling her, like that's not, revenge is not justice. Like justice has to be served in a certain way. And so the girl's trying to convince her. So it seems like now she's going to be going on this journey specifically to try to convince this girl before they find the guy. She was going to try to convince her that like murdering him is not the way to get your revenge or whatever, But it'll be like a coming of age tale for both of them in a lot of ways. So it's really cool. Like all of that narration and stuff, it's written more in the style of prose than like comic book narration or voiceovers. So it's got like this very prosy feel to it, and it just like really helps round out the world. The dialogue of the people, so good. It's got like this kind of old English flair to it, so it makes it great. The girl, Ruthie, right, when she describes the sword, basically the guy like wanted to like buy it off of her. And she says, if you examine this sword, you will find it of high quality and worth. As I have traveled, many well-practiced smiths have offered me the sky for it, but I have no need for the sky. Like,
Okay,
dialogue is so good. There's some lines in here from Supergirl that are like super well delivered. Like, it's a great book.
That's never anything that I felt Tom King ever lacked in at all, was his dialogue. It's right on, man. That's awesome. It's good to know that a book that people are potentially speculating on is a really good read. That helps its case tremendously. So it's awesome, man.
And it's one of those things. Like I said, it's Tom King. It's this separate universe sort of setup. So odds are you're not going to see these new characters like really pop up for a while.
Yeah.
If that were the case, then you would see people like specking like crazy on the Mask of the Phantasm being in Batman Catwoman. But there's not a lot of hype around that because until she really folds into the universe proper, she really doesn't amount to anything because nobody else is going to use her in their stories just because Tom King did, Right.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens, but it wouldn't be unheard of to bring an alternate universe character into the main universe. I mean, no, anything's possible.
Like where they're at right now, Ruthie is just like a regular girl as far as we know. So until we like see some superpowers or anything, there's no indication that she's going to become a staple or like a useful character within the universe, like a superhero or something.
Right. Sweet, man. I don't know. I have a hard time getting into the Superman family at all, the super family. So this was a pass for me. But like I said, I knew that there's potential behind it because it's Tom King. Whether it's negative or positive news, if he's doing something, people are talking about it. So and that's never a bad thing. I mean, I don't know, man. So with that being said, I've got a couple of copies on their way, but will I read them? Probably not. I'll take your word for it.
The only thing I ever knew about Supergirl was that really awful movie they did, like in the 80s or something. There was like a spinoff movie, part of like the Superman universe.
Yeah.
And I watched it. It was really bad. I was like, I don't know anything about Supergirl, and this movie's awful. So that's really all the knowledge I have. I know some people have read some of the other books that have come out and stuff, so that might change how you see this. But for me, this is like an origin story, so it works. It's awesome.
Cool, man. Cool. I'm not done with DC, but I've got some other stuff to talk about before I get to some more DC. Gee, I wonder what he's waiting for. I want to talk about some Clone Saga stuff here. I mean, we've been kind of talking about it a little bit with Miles Morales. Does this Clone Saga deserve the type of outside hate that it's getting from people that aren't even giving it a chance to read? Did you read this issue at all? Have you been following this anymore?
No.
Okay.
No, I haven't followed any of it.
Okay, so
you, really.
Gotcha. So, to kind of set it up, Miles, he's been captured by the clones. Clones are mad because you know, they weren't designed. I mean, they were designed to be temporary, and then they found this way to potentially, you know, be a real boy. And then our Miles went and fucked some shit up, and now they're mad, and now they have him all tied up, and you know, this is what it is. So he's, for the majority of the book, he's sitting there just trying to convince these clones to release him. You know, uh, but while all this is going on, they're giving the origin story, and you know, of these other clones. They're not directly cloned from Miles. There was another clone, and they've been enhanced and fucked with since, and yeah, that's why they're all weird and can't talk good, and yeah. But with that being said, they haven't killed them off yet still, and they gave them an origin story, and it tells me that we may have some sweet characters, some future characters right under our noses that nobody's talking about, that pop up just a couple issues ago. I don't know. I'm having faith in this. I am. I'm liking where this is going. You know, it's I'm not gonna spoil the end of this, but the cliffhanger is, I mean, it's kind of gut wrenching. You know, you understand it's comics, and I'm sure all's going to be well, but at the same time, just the thought of this evil motherfucker and what he's has in his hands, like, I don't like it. I don't want to wait a month to find out what the fuck he's gonna do to it. You know, it's we'll see. So I don't know, man. I think it's an underappreciated story arc that's going on over at Marvel right now, and there's a huge amount for it to be overshadowed by. I mean, King in Black just wrapped up. Heroes Reborn's a thing. You know, I mean, just everything at Marvel's big right now. So you know, even Miles, a Clone Saga, was somehow just overshadowed. So I give it a shot would be my recommendation. You know, see for yourself. This is not Ben Reilly. You know, that's not what this is. You know, I know people hated that shit, and that's why they're automatically, they're not my Miles. Don't do it again. Repetition sucks. No, this is different, and it's good, and I like it, and I don't know. I think we're gonna get some good stuff coming out of this. I think when it's all said and done, I know we got 3 of these goofy clones running around right now. I think my guess is they're all going to mold into one in some way, shape, or form, and we're gonna get some really cool alternate version of like a Miles-like figure in some way, shape, or form. And I'm thinking, just throwing it out there, anti-hero. You know, that's we'll see. This is me just throwing shit out there right now, but it sounds like they want to keep something about this. They want this to mean something. You know, and that's what we want out of our comics if we're going to invest in something, you know. Not everything needs to mean something, but if you're going to hype something up, then make it fucking worth my time, you know. And I think Saladin's doing that with this. I am. I think he's going to silence the haters here real soon. I think a lot of haters are going to be kicking themselves for talking shit and staying away from this book. We'll see. Point is, I was
talking about that the other day, and I mean, that's kind of like everybody that I've heard that's talk about it, that's been reading it, they really seem to enjoy it. There's just more people that aren't even giving it a chance because it's another Clone Saga, and that has mixed meanings to a lot of people. So that's kind of one thing they have to overcome, is getting people to actually read it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's the most difficult part. And when Twitter's around, sometimes it can be hard. Fantastic Four, man. Fantastic Four, the Doom wedding. Oh my gosh. I know when it comes to Marvel weddings, can't nothing ever go right. And that's what I love about a Marvel wedding. If Kitty Pryde and Colossus say they're getting married and we're building that up for 3 issues and they're on the cover, they're definitely not getting married. Rogue and Gambit are for sure getting married. If Doom is going to marry his beloved Victorious, his right hand, his Valkyrie-esque type of just slayer, for a fact that Johnny's gonna fuck that shit. And drama, and that's what the fuck this issue is. This is Doom going, what the fuck just happened at the altar, and just everybody's going to die. This 34 is going to be the last issue of the Fantastic Four. I'm calling it now. Wow. Dan Slott, he's quitting, dropping the mic. This is a fucking Marvel wedding, man. I love a Marvel wedding. I do, because it means nothing, and I am entertained as shit every single time. Every single time. I don't know if I'm just a fucking sadistic person. That motherfucker don't need to be weighed down by that bitch type of situation. Like, they could do better. I just... yeah. Their powers don't really... I'm going to find a reason to stand up and be that guy. No, not in this way. No, I object. And... I don't remember the last time I read, what was supposed to be a wedding. There wasn't some sort of... I mean, we had the Ben Grimm wedding, that went through, but even then, it was still interrupted. It took 3 fucking issues, because Doom came down and was like, nope, and then Hulk came through, and on the honeymoon, and we got the Hulk thing fight at the honeymoon. Like, that's Marvel. Marvel hates love so much. I could just Gwen Stacy carrying on. Fucking Heroes Reborn, man. Almost done. This is 7 of 7, but there's going to be Heroes Return, and I can't wait to see what Heroes Return does. But the Heroes Reborn, this was a lot of fun. This was essentially the Squadron Supreme going, who the fuck are the Avengers? And why are they almost here? And we got to find out everything. And then Wolverine shows up, and he kind of kills Hyperion. And that turns into a whole thing. And really, I will say this: the Weapon X Final Flight. This is kind of a must read for a tie-in. I'm glad I picked it up, because I after reading this, I couldn't imagine going into Heroes Return not reading this, because, like I said, Hyperion. And I don't want to say it's a spoiler. Like, it's a thing that fucking happens. There's a million things that happen in this fucking in this issue number 7. Most of all, it's them just setting up to fight the Avengers. They don't like them. They don't know them. It's going to be so goddamn good. Jason Aaron is going to, it's going to be so epic. But with that being said, the Weapon X Final Flight, like I said, not 100% necessary. It can be done, but it really plays a good part into, like, where the fuck Wolverine just came out of nowhere. Like, magic claws, you're dead. And that's it, But you accept it because it's Wolverine and it's magic against Superman. So, it's okay. And, I didn't stop and really question it or anything like that. And Jason Aaron does a good job of, like, you didn't see that. Let's just keep going. And we got other stuff, and so that makes me And then, just to kind of talk about this a little bit, it's kind of spoilery. Yeah, no, Hyperion's not dead. Logan, he gonna die. It's gnarly, man. It's face melty. It's brutal. Like the way they do Logan in this, man. It's brutal. I picked up a couple copies of this because I like the idea. I like the Final Flight team. You know, I've been saying there's going to be things in this Heroes Reborn universe that will get used in the 616. And this isn't an outside 616 story. The 616 are the antagonists in this, you know, according to, you know, this perspective. So they're coming, and it's just a matter of, you know, when the Avengers go back, who are they bringing with them? And the Alpha Flight, I mean, we don't have an Alpha Flight team. We've got Gamma Flight, so Final Flight, why the fuck not? You know, I got an idea. It's a cool team. It was interesting. The dynamic was great. It was action packed. Like what Ed Brisson does with this, he's just, I loved it. I loved every bit of it. And the art, Boshi on the art, it's not what I expected going into this. You know, it was I'll kind of, you know, I'll open it up and show you. You know, you look at the cover and you're like, all right, you know, it's about what I would expect. And it was Tony Daniel. You know, it's Tony fucking S. Daniel. But then you get into it, and it's almost kind of like Mike Mignola-ish, in a way. I don't got good focus there.
Yeah.
But I don't know, not a whole lot of line work. You know, just
more like blocky shapes and stuff.
Yeah, Samurai Jack, you know, and not completely like that, but yeah, no, I enjoyed looking at it just as much as I enjoyed reading it. And I haven't been reading a lot of the tie-ins to Heroes Reborn, and now it makes me kind of wonder, like, how much have I really missed out on? You know, if it made me feel the way it did, like, oh fuck, I couldn't have imagined. You know, I mean, but who knows what Heroes Return would have prefaced as well. You know, I'm more than likely they would have. They're going to throw in a few panels, you know, referring to what happens in all of these tie-ins. You know, Marvel's not dumb that way. The writers at Marvel, all of these guys have done enough events and stuff. They know how this shit works. So, I have faith in this. As far as Heroes Reborn so far as an event, I'm very happy with it. I'm very, very happy with it, and it has me incredibly excited for the future of the Marvel universe. These books will be blowing up in no time. A lot of these characters, they're too good not to keep playing with. You know, it's just, yeah. And why not? It's not like, do we have a roster cap? You know, like, why not bring them in? I don't know.
Yeah, it's the same thing with DC's Future State. You know, like it was hit and miss, but there are some characters that I want to see come over and show us more, and they've already started doing that a little bit. But there's some characters and stories in Future State that, like, I hope they stay there. I don't care. Yeah. But there was some good characters and some good, like, individual issues and stuff that came out of it. So I'm excited to see that stuff get folded in, you know. They show us interesting characters. I definitely don't want to lose the interesting ones, you know. No doubt,
man. No doubt. All right. So the big book for me, you know, this is Nightwing, man. Like I said, I've been chasing Heartless for way too long. I've got all 12 of his cameo appearances at this point. He's here. He's right in the beginning. I am Heartless. Let us fight. And they fight, and they realize that the indicator for me that he's not just going to be some low-level street thug with a shiny mask is that he's enhanced. As soon as Nightwing throws his club and he catches it like it's a fucking Nerf ball, you know, it's and immediately Nightwing's reaction is, I underestimated, and this Heartless character has Joker-like tendencies immediately. Once again, giving me the thought that this is Dick's Joker. Can you think who in Dick's I'm gonna say Dick as many times as I can for the next 5 minutes, so you know. Screw you, YouTube. Who in Dick's Rogues Gallery? I mean, would you? I mean, does he have a Rogues Gallery? Is it blaspheme to think that Dick Grayson, the greatest ass in comics, doesn't have a regular face to punch in next to Talon? You know, that's I don't know, man. I can't think of anybody. So why not? Why not? And it's Tom Taylor doing it, and that's the other big indication. It's Tom Taylor. You know, he's gonna make it work. He's gonna make it compelling. He's going to make sure that you're invested. He's going to make you hate this person as much as possible. You know, by playing with your emotions. Blockbuster, that's a good one. Yeah. Ken.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only like regular character in his rogues gallery that I know of is Blockbuster. So and that's more of a like Bane Clayface kind of character than somebody like the Joker or Riddler that Batman goes up against. So this will be a good like way to diversify the Dick portfolio.
Yeah, for sure. I love it. Yeah, I mean, just the way that he plays with your emotions, like Tom Taylor is just an absolute master. I don't know if there's anybody better in comics that can make me feel every single type of way within 20 issues. You know, at first, okay, so first glance, okay, holy shit, this guy is a force to be reckoned with. Dick, he's underestimated them, realized immediately. And then he stands there and says, fuck these kids. Let them run. I want them to run. You know, let them go. It's you I'm after. And you're like, okay, maybe this guy has something to him. And then he pulls out a gun and he shoots at Dick's heart. And then I'm like, okay, well, maybe it was set to stun. You know, I'm gonna give this guy a chance. Like, what's going on here? Maybe we can get an anti-villain. Maybe we can get a partner. Like, we got Ghostmaker. You know, like that's kind of, maybe this is a Ghostmaker type of situation. Maybe we've been duped and it's not a villain the whole time. He's just a guy that had something against that one particular homeless guy that he killed in cold blood. That's not one time, but but the thing that gets me, that turns it all around, is when you realize that his whole plan to get the kids to run and to fight Dick, it was all just very Joker-like. Let's get them all to run towards the thing that I'm getting ready to explode. And that was what made me go, this motherfucker's here forever, because he just disappears. Dick never lands a punch. We'll see him in 3 issues. In the meantime, he's got some other shit to deal with. I'm not going to go ahead and spoil this, but I will say that the person that is out for blood for him more than anybody right now is what's her face, Zuko, Melinda Zuko. You know, she gets Dick. She gets him so good. She gets Dick so good. She ties Dick up, and then she realizes who Dick is, and whoops. That's when everything changes in the story. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what to expect from here. Like, all of a sudden his greatest villain probably not going to be feeling that way anymore, you know, just based off of the emotion that was drawn by Redondo in this. I don't think that was oh my God, it's you. Gotcha, bitch. Like, I don't think it's gonna be like that. You know, like it's I don't know. These characters here are here to stay. I've watched the value of Nightwing 78 steadily climb. It was a $20 book 2 days ago, and I think it's $35 to $40 now. If you got the foil cover, I saw one sell for almost $140 for that WonderCon foil 78. So anybody that says that you speculating on DC books is a waste of time, they clearly have not read a Tom Taylor joint. And anything that he does has potential. I mean, even in his Batman the Detective run, like the new Robin like character that they're bringing in there, give it a minute. It's I don't know, man. And Taylor we trust. Nightwing is the series. It's I mean, you could say it's Batman, but Nightwing is really the one, because it's, you don't we haven't seen any of this before. You know, it's there's no patterns being followed here. You know, and I'm not trying to throw shade at Tynan or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, you know, people put Batman on a pedestal, and reality right now, Nightwing is DC's book. you know, and
Yeah.
I don't know. The DC's doing other great stuff too, but
I'm really excited for this because, like we were talking about, like it took us forever to just come up with Blockbuster. Like
yeah.
Nightwing or Dick Grayson has been in Bloodhaven for how long? But he's always been a shadow of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And what Taylor's been doing here, he gave him a ton of money. Then he turned around and had Dick decide that he's going to use that money to defend and build his city out and make it a home for him, Then you see him getting Heartless here, who I agree with you. It seems like a very long-term villain that's going to really mess up his world. And then you also have that big reveal there with Melinda and the connections that has to his world, because he's always been kind of, like mobster, gangster oriented.
Mm-hmm.
So with the connections to the mob and everything that she brings into his life, like this seems like a great way to, and the effect and change that's going to have on him as an individual. No longer is he going to feel lonely in the world, And so I think this is all a way to take him out of Batman's shadow and make Nightwing and Dick Grayson his own character in his own world where, sure, he can still make appearances, but it won't feel like he belongs there anymore. It's going to feel like he's making an appearance.
Right. Yeah, and I will say one thing. I've said a lot of things, but another great thing about this Nightwing series is not once has Batman even crossed my mind. Like even when the Alfred note shows up with all the money, like Batman, has never crossed my mind. It's Nightwing. He's his own character. He's not an extension anymore. Sure, he's a part of the Bat family, but in the DC universe at this point, who the fuck isn't? I mean, the dude's sticking his dick in everything, not his mouth, but his dick. And and yeah, it's just it's a breath of fresh air, is what this is. It's
like this series is very reminiscent of the Fraction run on Hawkeye.
Yeah,
like it's very lighthearted. It's got like this very stylistic setup. I mean, how cool was the IKEA instructions to cut a hole in glass? Like,
yeah,
that stuff is so off the wall, but it's so cool the way they pull it off. It's very in universe and very in style, and I really like it because they're breathing fresh air into the DC universe itself. Like that book stands separate from everything else they're putting out, and they're really like breathing new life into Dick Grayson and Nightwing, and they're taking away from like Mr. Brooding all the time, just like Batman, to like he really seems jovial and excited. He's got his fears because Heartless is showing up just ripping out hearts, but he himself, like he seems really happy for once, and it just feels like a new character finally, but still like a lot of the familiar things about him.
Right. Yeah, you nailed it right there, man. You nailed it. All right, let's talk about the big thing. I mean, it doesn't get much bigger than Dick. I had it one more time, but the Venom. There's some things. Whoops. There's some things to say about this. I picked up a few copies at school. All right. Well, your final impressions on Kate's run. I mean, you didn't read this, did you?
No,
you did not.
I've been reading his Thor run. I'm reading Daniel Warren Johnson's Beta Ray Bill, but I didn't read any of Venom, and I read like 3 issues of King in Black. So I really don't know a lot of what's going on with all of that and the Marvel Universe right now.
Gotcha. Well, I've been a fan all the way through. I touted this run throughout its run as a top 3 Marvel read throughout its entire time. Never did it drop. Oftentimes it was number 1. There was some really, really amazing things that came out of this series. I know people are very biased when it comes to Cates at this point. They say he's more of a self-marketer than he is a creator at this point. I call bullshit on that. Like, just because, yeah, he's a great promoter, and he's got me buying more than I should have a few times, sure. But I don't know. I really liked what he did with this character. I don't think anybody's done enough with Venom. People have done things with Venom, but no one's really taking them seriously. You know, they'd be like, oh, it'd be cool if I did this for a couple issues, or I threw this in here, but for 12 issues. But I mean, 35 issues, that's a hell of a run. And I mean, fucking 3 years, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I've been invested for 3 years. And I don't know, man. What it all came down to, and I guess we could talk spoilers on this, because there's not. If this hasn't been spoiled for you, then you have superpowers and you should be a comic book
I heard about it Tuesday morning. So
yeah.
I mean, I think everybody knows by Wednesday evening.
Oh, for sure. With something of this magnitude, it's. So yeah, I mean, the big news is that Flash is back. Sorry. Honestly speaking, that really is the big thing for me, because you said you got laughed out of, Dylan's going to become Venom. Ding, ding, ding. You win. Spoilers. Fucking Flash is back and he's doing shit in the Agent Anti-Venom suit. Is that Agent Anti-Venom or is it just Agent Venom?
I think it's just Agent Venom.
Yeah, okay.
I will say, I've only ever read one Venom series, and it happened to be Secret Agent Venom. So I have a very similar, fascination with that character. Like, I thought that was one of the coolest versions of Venom, because it made him kind of Suicide Squad-like, and like Flash is like really, in this situation where like he can't really live with himself, he can't live without himself. So once you throw Venom into that mix and he's all in his head, like, it was a really good run. So I'm excited to see him back. Hopefully we get more of that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Ewing does with that. Hopefully it's not just, hey, he's there, and then we'll see in a couple years when the next writer remembers that he exists. But Al Ewing's not going to do us like that. Like I said, I'm pretty sure he and Donnie had a very lengthy lunch to talk about some stuff, and I don't think these titles are going to fall off. I don't think Venom's going to fall out of the top 3. I don't think Hulk's going to fall out of the top 5 for me. It's I think they're going to keep doing their things. It's just, I don't know, a nice creative change. We don't all need Chris Claremont runs, because what's the biggest problem with Chris Claremont? He just started fucking repeating himself. I don't need another King in Black. We did that. It's good. It's done. Now, and we talked a lot about the big thing without really saying it. I guess we did kind of say it. We totally said it. Dylan being Venom. That's the big reveal with this. Like I said, I liked it. I'm glad that you were right. I wasn't a doubter at all when you said that. It made all of the sense to me, because this to me, this wasn't an Eddie Brock run. It was a misdirection. This was a Dylan run for sure. That's the whole point of this whole thing, was to set up Dylan, create an interesting character that we grow to love and invest in, and we see him get put through just absolute dog shit for like 27 issues. Pops up in number 7 initially. So it's I don't know, man. It's I liked it. I'm okay with it. I say voila. Good job, Donny Cates. I mean, it's a great run. It ended better than I expected. I'll put it that way. I actually I expected this issue to be completely irrelevant. When Dylan didn't become Venom at the end of King in Black, I was like, oh, shit. I was one of those people. But I mean, I also knew that 35 was coming. It's just, I was kind of sensing that at this point, maybe Cates was just like, fuck it. Let's on to the next thing, and we'll see what they want to do with Dylan. We'll leave it to be interpreted for the next person. But I'm glad he did the damn thing. This is, the goal the whole time was to throw some goddamn black goo around Dylan, and I dig it. I liked the way that it happened. I thought it was very organic, and it made sense. And I don't know, man. Bravo.
Yeah.
This is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to hear that it ended well because, like, huge fan of Kate's Thor run, especially the Prey stuff. But that was not a great wrap up, like, and that's Kate's. Like, my experience with Kate's is his endings typically aren't good. He's a first and second act guy. Like, he writes like a stellar introduction. You're about to get like some crazy over the top, blow your mind stuff, and then you move into Act Two, and he does really good like interpersonal connections.
Yeah.
And so that's why I knew that he was setting up Dylan to become the next Venom, because that's what Donny Cates does. He does like generational passing of the torch stories. That's what God Country was. It was about generations of family coming together. That's what his Thor run, like, especially the Prey stuff, like, it all comes down. He starts the whole series out, like, all the way at the beginning. There's this issue with Thor's hammer. Loki doesn't want to be the god of mischief anymore. Odin wants to retire. And how does it wrap up? Odin gets to retire. Thor comes into his own and tells him, he's like, yo, like, I'm king now. You're not going to run the ship anymore, And Loki gets to relieve himself of being the god of mischief. He's now the god of story.
Yeah.
So, like, that's how Donny Cates writes. It's always about how people are connected to each other and what their perspectives are on each other, And so whenever I looked at Venom, I was like, yeah, like, this is his style. He's going to do Eddie Brock and his connection to his son and what that means to his family and how the Venom family is affected by that and all of that stuff, So, and like I said before, I've talked to enough writers now that I know, like, whenever they leave a character like that, it's not that they don't want somebody else to write the character. It's that they feel it's like seeing your ex, like they don't want to go back and read that character. And so the best way to kind of distance yourself is to leave in a way that kind of like does a soft block of what they can do. So if he's going to leave, he's going to want to put Dylan in Venom so that whoever comes in to write next, Al Ewing, is going to have to write Dylan and Venom, not his Eddie and Venom thing,
Otherwise, it just looks malicious, And so, yeah, and it's
and that doesn't mean it'll be that way forever. But it will take like at least 6 months for Al Ewing to write it back to Eddie and Venom, So it gives him that breather, that disconnect. Like, let me separate from this before it happens again, I'm sure he's going to take Hulk and it's going to become a completely different kind of series. And that's going to be relieving for Al Ewing to not have to feel like he's just like taking over his character all of a sudden,
They're both going to be writing God books. It's what's going to happen. I see Hulk at the end of Immortal Hulk. He's going to become a god. It's just how I feel it's going to wrap up. And in the end, yes, Donny Cates will be writing the Hulk as a god, and Al Ewing will be writing Eddie Brock as a god, and there will also be Dylan Brock with the Venom. So it's that's just my prediction. We'll see. I mean, we still got a few more issues of Immortal to read to know for sure. I mean, if he doesn't end up a god, then I'm wrong. But I feel like Al Ewing is definitely building up to something fucking massive. A 50-issue epic. Like, something big's going to happen. It's I don't know. I have faith in these big Marvel runs. They tie these creators to now. I don't know. I haven't been disappointed like that in a while, unless it was, I guess, a Spider-Man title. But that's a whole different thing. I mean, it's just one. That's one out of how many? It's been a good time to be a Marvel fan overall, and I think this is just another notch in their belt, man. I dug it quite a bit. I don't have shit else to talk about as far as books I read. There's still a few more books that I will get to this week, but I have to go pick them up. They were late, so yeah, it is what it is. We got to the important stuff though. Well, I don't want to take anything away from anything we didn't talk about. I'm not saying that stuff's not important. I'm going to talk myself into a fucking corner here. Ryan, where do they find you on social media before we get the fuck out of here, man? Tell them about Cosmic Campfire, your other show that I poached you from to come over and take time to do.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, at New Guy there. NUEXGUY. You can find me newguy.com, spelled the same way. That's where you can find like all the links to everything. I have a podcast called Cosmic Campfire. You can find that anywhere that you find podcasts. And I also have a YouTube channel, same name, Cosmic Campfire. So
Sweet, man.
check out all those places.
Well, I always appreciate you taking the time to come on. This is kind of a new thing we're doing. It's going to keep growing. We didn't do it last week, but I was too busy surviving for my life. You can listen to all of that on my other podcast. It's not comic books, The Real Brains, but I host the Cheers to Comics podcast. It's all building up to this essentially. The Polis priorities and the creator corners and all of that. It's all different content so that I could talk to Ryan on Wednesdays live in front of all of you guys. So check all that out. Obviously, anywhere you can find a podcast, it's just Cheers to Comics. Thanks so much. Tell a friend. We'll see you next Wednesday. It's been fun, man. Thanks so much, Ryan.
Yeah, always.
That awkward moment.